Hey, that's strangely close to Daniel Jones from the Giants. Daniel, is that you? Beat the Chiefs. Show me. If the Broncos and Russell Wilson can show me that they can beat the Chiefs, then I will start believing.
And the crowd up. And so are this defense, and Kansas City won't snap the ball again. The Denver Broncos have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs.
Dave Montgomery on the Lions, former Bear, gonna make this his revenge game for sure. David Montgomery gets the touchdown that ices the game. No! And there's a flag. There's flags. There's flags. There's flags. There's flags. Snap. Hold. Kick.
Denver wins! Denver wins! Let's go!
They open. No!
What happened? Oh shit.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to Only Football Today. Kyle and I are going to be doing our week 4 predictions. We're going to be talking Thursday night football tonight, all the way to the doubleheader on Monday night football. And of course, we're going to give you our top five for week 4. And of course, we're going to end it off with the chives with Kyle. Oh, let's get it. America is football. Football is America.
Football is America. And if you don't like it, you can kiss your candy ass.
For the moment in time, I don't give a damn.
Oh my God.
No.
You love it.
30 to 27.
No!
Chiefs win. Chiefs
No!
win 30 to 20. Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome
Boys
to
and
Only
girls.
Football. I'm Kyle, and that's Rick.
I'm Rick. That's Kyle.
This is, man, depending on who you're a fan of, this has been a pretty good start to the season. And when we went into week 3, I said, week 3 is weird, and it's just going to give you a lot of twists and turns. This is the week where you think you know a guy, and you really didn't. And then all of a sudden, the Panthers win 30-0 against the Falcons, and everyone's like, the Falcons are the new 49ers. It's like, oh, I don't know. Are they? Raheem Morris gets fired, maybe? I don't know. Like,
Kyle's calling it.
You get easily thrown from worst to first to the skies falling to the Super Bowl. Tonight, we have a game against two teams that I could say I really don't know. The Seahawks and the Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals have a 52.3% chance of winning, according to the analytics, the AI bots. I don't know how they do this.
I'm going AI bots.
AI bots.
AI bots. I'm going AI bots.
Yeah, but it gives Seahawks look, I don't understand it. The Seahawks coming off a big win. Sam Darnold, I think he has the most completions over 20 yards. So you're seeing the Seattle offense really start to come to life. Sam Darnold starting to take form. That was one of the reasons that they brought him in, was like, we want somebody that can really push the ball down the field and get those big chunk plays consistently. And with Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet and JSN, they let DK Metcalf go, and they said, we'll see if JSN can be a legitimate number 1 receiver. That's looking like a yes. So the Seahawks have the potential to be really good, but yet they're not favored to win this game. I don't feel like the Cardinals have showed us much in their games. Like, they've played close games, but they haven't really been consistent. Marvin Harrison hasn't really had much success this year. Kyler Murray, like we mentioned, he came in with the 2 purses last week, which I don't got a problem with the 2 purses, but you got to win those games. Like, it's like Deion Sanders said, if you're gonna dress good, you got to play good. You can't have the half sleeve and the visor and be on the bench. Like you gotta be out at least starting. And I felt like Kyler Murray just had a bad game in general last week. That's why the purses became the talking point of the week instead of
yeah.
Throwing 4 touchdown passes to Marvin Harrison, and finally, the Cardinals are back. And I think a lot of people have both these teams in the unknown spot. Where would you put them?
The Cardinals are definitely, to me, that unknown, because looking at who they've played so far, it's New Orleans, Carolina, San Francisco. They lost against San Francisco. They beat Carolina by 5. They beat New Orleans by 7 versus the Seahawks, where they're killing teams, man. Like, they both have losses to San Francisco so far, but Pittsburgh, they beat 31-17. New Orleans, 44-13. I think the Seahawks are kind of getting into that, like, it's taken them a couple weeks for the Sam Darnold thing to work out a little bit better, for JSN to really emerge. And I mean, Torrey Thornton, what's his name? I believe his name is Torrey or Tony Thornton. Either way, Torrey Horton is what his name is. That wide receiver last week against the Saints had an awesome game. I mean, we have to look at this in terms of context. Both of these teams played the Saints. The Seahawks had the much more impressive win, and they both lost very close to the 49ers. That's a division matchup. That's a tough one. But I feel like offensively, the Seahawks are getting more into their groove, whereas you kind of mentioned with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray, like, it just, there's something there. They're like still stuck in a rut. There's something wrong with that offense. And I don't know what the fix may be. Like, does Marvin Harrison just need to like catch 100 balls from the machine every single day? Because it seems like he's kind of letting Kyler Murray down there on the offensive side. And on the defense, I'm giving the edge to the Seahawks. Like, that defense, the guys that they have on there are probably, in my opinion, a lot better than what the Cardinals have. Now, we had talked about the Cardinals too. Over the offseason, they brought in some guys, most of them a little bit older, a little bit on the higher of the veteran side of NFL players. So have been injured before in their past, likely to get injured again. And I'm not saying that they're going to. I'm just saying that it's a much better possibility than what the Seahawks guys are going to experience right now. And I guess they're giving the Cardinals that 2%, 3% edge at home. But given the 3 weeks so far of football that both of these teams have played, I'm taking the Seahawks to win this one, to beat the Cardinals. And I think it's going to be similar to that 49ers score, where you're like in the teens, winning by 4, winning by 3. I'm going to go in the 20s here and go 24-20. The Seahawks take the dub in Arizona and get their first divisional win of the year.
Okay. Yeah, and the James Conner thing, he's out. So
Benson.
We're gonna see Trey Benson take on a role, and I think Trey Benson, I think so highly of him. So don't be surprised if he has a breakout game tonight. And if he does, I think the Cardinals can win. But that's my X factor in this game. I'm gonna take the Seahawks. Give me the Cardinals at home.
No!
Give me the Cardinals at home because of Trey Benson. He has 2 touchdowns and has a breakout game. I'm going to say he has 100 all-purpose yards, maybe 50 on the ground, and maybe 50 to 60 receiving and a couple touchdowns, and Cardinals win. I'm going to go with a similar score. I'm going to go 24-20 Cardinals.
Oh, okay. All right.
So we'll see who comes on top with that one. Next up, we got the Minnesota Vikings. Now, this game is in Dublin. This is a 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. The Vikings are playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, trash. No one likes getting up at 5:30 in the morning in Seattle.
Yeah.
30. But fans in Ireland are going to get a chance to see how washed up future Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers is. And I mean, this is I hate to put it that way because like I had the Steelers winning the North, and I still think Aaron Rodgers has good football. I just don't think he's gonna have it in Ireland.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I was saying yesterday, I feel like the international audience always gets the worst of like
You guys get Jags
look,
Panthers.
it's like there is some kind of board meeting where they vote on which games is the worst, and then
Yep.
they take those games and then they vote on which ones go to Thursday Night Football and which ones go to
Yeah.
the international.
Yeah.
It's like a fantasy draft pick. It's like Fever Pitch when he gets his tickets and all of his buddies have to decide which game they're going to.
Yeah. The
Well,
whole
you
thing on the
Yankee tickets?
board.
You got to dance for Yankee tickets. He's like, I'm not dancing for Yankee. And then the one guy starts tapping his foot, and he's like, "Ooh, I like that.
I like that." Yeah.
But yeah, this game, I think, I don't know if it's the time zones or what, but the Vikings are coming off an obvious domination where I don't know if that's like, what do you do with that, right? It's the NFL. It's not like the Vikings are going to start dominating their opponents every single week. Sometimes when it rains, it pours. And I think that's what happened with the Vikings last week. But for the Steelers, they're 2.5 point underdogs. And I just feel like we do this every year where we take the Steelers to be like 2.5 point underdogs. They win the game. You go to week 12 and they're 10-1 or 10-2. And that's because they win these games right here. A Vikings team with a backup quarterback in another country. Give me the Steelers. I don't need to overthink it. Now, Carson Wentz looked really good with the Vikings. And I want to be clear. I don't think it was a fluke. I think Wentz just has something left in the tank that credit Kevin O'Connell that he's able to pull that out and show the world like, hey, this guy knows how to process defenses quick. He knows how to get out of the huddle. He knows how to do all the little things right. And that's really all I need to score, 30 plus points. And it's turning out to be true. So as long as you have that, fundamentals down, which Carson Wentz does. So I don't think that Carson Wentz quarterback play last week was a fluke. I just think that I feel like the public's overinflating the Vikings right now because of that win. The Vikings had something last week that JJ McCarthy hasn't had yet. And well, we'll see how good does Wentz have to play to not lose the starting job?
Yeah.
Is that even an option? And then you got Brian Flores. The defense with him is going to be playing chess with Aaron Rodgers throughout the game. But in all, I got the Steelers winning a very boring. I'm going to go 16-13.
Yeah. Nothing about this. Like, really, there's a few interesting things. There's nothing crazy interesting about this game, but you were right at the very top when you introduced this game. You're like, they just pick the worst games to be like, yeah, let's give it to the guys across the pond. That's who needs this game. So on the Viking side, Kevin O'Connell, JJ McCarthy was injured, but Kevin O'Connell, you give him these veteran quarterbacks who have been in the league for it seems like at least 6-7 years before they go to Kevin O'Connell, and he fixes them. I mean, Daniel Jones was on the roster last year. Sam Darnold was a starter for the Vikings last year. Both of those guys are Darnold was killing it last year, and then now Daniel Jones is killing it with the Colts. So some interesting stuff going on there. Then you go on the other side with the Steelers. Mike Tomlin, a guy who is successful every single season ever since he started coaching, never below 500, yada, yada, yada. You pair him up with 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers, and like you said, he's still got some football in him. I don't know if it's going to be anything like amazing like your Tom Brady was with the Bucs, that kind of football. I mean, and Rodgers has had his moments of shine so far this season and even last season. So, got the coffee pot on deck. I love it. So I can absolutely see a boring game like this because the Steelers defense isn't really all that good this year. And the Vikings defense is still pretty much on the same level as they were last year, just maybe not as not as much in that shutting down teams during games in terms of points. Mike Tomlin's 4-0 internationally. He is a perfect 4-0. And I think he goes 5-0 as well. I think he beats the Vikings. I think Aaron Rodgers does enough to take down the Vikings defense, and the Steelers defense plays a lot better than they have been playing. And they get the dub against Carson Wentz, Kevin O'Connell.
Wow.
In Dublin, Ireland.
Wow.
And they go 2-2.
Is it going to be a close one at least?
Or 3-1, I should say.
I'm score for this one.
I'm gonna go. I will go 17. I'm gonna go 17-13.
Okay.
Yeah. Nothing crazy, but nothing too boring.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we get Jackson Dart making his first start. Brian Dable went ahead and made the move and benched him. Talking about Russell Wilson for his first game against the Chargers, the undefeated Chargers, 6.5-point favorites, a 1 p.m. game. I think there's going to be a lot of eyes on this game just because this is Jackson Dart's first start in the NFL. And plus, I mentioned this yesterday. I don't understand why you either throw the quarterback into the fire or you have the other philosophy that if you throw him in too early, it can mess with his confidence and he may never be the same. You might do irreparable damage. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the other road. If you were on that road, why would you throw him into the Chargers, the Broncos, the Eagles? These are the Bills. These are like the next games that he's going to play. He's about to be thrown into a gauntlet. And they're going to say, okay, here you go. It's like, man, he could have gotten some momentum going if you would have started in week 1. So I think they should have started him. They should have thrown him in at halftime in that last game.
Yeah.
To be honest. But here we are. And it's kind of a sink or swim for the young man.
For the kid.
Yeah. But look, he's getting desperate talking about Dable. His job's on the line. It is clear. The looks he's getting from the fans. The GM is also getting looks from the fans because of what he did with Saquon Barkley, and now Daniel Jones is balling out, and it's just like, oh my God, how can this get any worse for us? And and then Daniel Jones is playing like a true MVP. Like, I want to be clear, the most valuable player in the NFL, Daniel Jones.
Yep.
This is reality. And this is saying more about the Giants. I think we're learning more about the Giants through the success the players are having when they leave than the success the players have within the organization, which is crazy.
Yep.
But what it all tells you is that there's just not much good about that organization right now. They need to rebuild it, not from a player's standpoint, but from an upper management office, coaches, GMs, all of it, analytics teams, like the whole thing. They need to tear it all down. And at least because they're doing that, they're a contender for the number 1 overall pick. Well, at least they'll know if they have the quarterback of the future or not by the time they draft in 2026, because they're doing the right thing by getting Jackson Dart the snaps. I have the Giants covering this game, the 6.5 points. Okay. There is always going to be kind of a boost or a jump that a team gets when he shifts to a quarterback. This is a tough game, but at New York, I expect the fan base to have his back. I think Dable is going to have a very quarterback-friendly game plan. I like what I saw from Cam Scatterbo last week.
Yeah.
And I think the Giants can keep this within a touchdown. I do think the Chargers win in a close game.
Yeah, I can see them covering as well, because that defense for New York is really good, and they've kept them in games sort of, to an extent. Yeah, the defense can only be out there for so long before it's like, all right, guys, you guys got to be out there for more than a 3 and out, right? I agree. Why Jackson Dart didn't start maybe game 2, even though game 2 was really, like, week 2 was really Russell Wilson's, like, oh my God, he still has it with his deep ball to Malik Neighbors, OT with the Dallas Cowboys, what have you. Because like you said, this is almost rookie quarterback malpractice. I went through this with Justin Fields when he was starting games against some really good defenses back in 2022. And I just, at that moment, I was like, why are you putting him out there right now against against a pretty damn good defense? And that's what Dable's doing here. But Dable is desperate. Joe Shane, desperate. We talked about it last week. They are signed through not only this season, but the next 2 seasons. So they are either going to be both completing their contracts or getting fired at the same time. Either way, like you said, they're going to figure out who Jackson Dart is by the time they draft. Now, I don't know if they're going to draft another quarterback. I suggest an offensive lineman for sure. But we'll see what happens at the end of the year. But I agree. This is a really bad start to Jackson Dart's career as a starter. But hey, let's see what they can do. All I know is at halftime, if the Giants, especially again at home, if the Giants have 7 points on the board and the offense doesn't look like it's moving one bit, you're going to hear boos from that home crowd, and they're going to be loud. It is going to be loud, like the Bears against Detroit last season towards the end of the year. They're going to be loud. They're going to be saying, fire the GM, fire Dable. It is going to be that bad in week 4 for the Giants. On the other side with the Chargers, the visiting team, Justin Herbert has looked awesome. That pass to Keenan Allen against the Broncos, where Keenan Allen wasn't even open, was a crazy pass. He is playing really well so far to start the season. The Chargers are 3-0. Their running attack hasn't been anything ridiculous. It really kind of has all fallen on Herbert, and their defense is pretty damn good as well, man. I mean, we've talked about it. I thought there was going to be kind of a fall off here. And I think Mac is still injured, but they've proven that they're still a upper tier defense right now for the Chargers. But that offense, man, it's crazy. Quentin Johnston looks like a number 1. I mean, Land McConkey is still really damn good. And Keenan Allen, adding him has just been really great for Justin Herbert too. I'm sure he missed them last season when he was on the Bears. Give me the Chargers to take this dub in New York. I'm going to go 20-14. I think Tracy Jr. and Neighbors each get a touchdown. Jackson Dart gets his first touchdown throw of his career, and Tracy Jr. gets a touchdown. But at the end of the day, I think the running game for the passing game for the Chargers does enough. I don't know if they're going to score that many points against this Giants defense, but I think they're going to be able to obviously take the game. So 20-14, give me the Chargers.
All right. Next up, we got the New Orleans Saints getting 16.5 points against the Buffalo Bills. Wow. I mean, you talk about
that's wild.
Lopsided. Yeah. I mean, I think you got to be a real sicko to take the Bills minus 16.5 here, but I wouldn't totally blame you if you did. I mean, the Saints, they were blown out. I mean, I guess they managed to avoid a blowout last week because they
sort of, yeah.
Kind of. I don't know. It wasn't as bad as some of the other blowouts, but it seemed like a pretty bad blowout.
Yeah, it was bad overall.
Yeah, and the Saints, their first 2 losses were within a score. So up to that point, they've been kind of hanging on. And that was just kind of like, it reminded me of when you're like hanging on by just barely pieces, right? Nose
Yeah.
barely above water, and someone just jumps on you, and you're like, I got nothing left.
Yep.
And then it just falls apart. But then you're like, I'm glad I got that. That was a good cry. I needed that, and you're ready to kind of get back up and fight again. And
That's a good way to do that. Yeah.
I don't think the Saints are gonna. I think they're ready to fight again, and
Okay.
I don't like. I just don't like the 16 and a half. It's the NFL. Like Kellen Moore, he's looking for his first win. They still got Kamara and Chris Olave and some pieces, and the Bills are one of those teams that people still think Josh Allen's throwing for 300 yards a game. He's throwing closer to like 176 yards per game, and James Cook is running the football more than ever. So,
yeah,
not that that's really affecting their points, but still, I think that this could be closer to like a 27-14,
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
Which wouldn't cover. So they have a lot of issues to address. But the color rush uniforms that they're wearing with the new white helmets,
nice.
They look clean as hell.
Yeah.
If you saw them, they look pretty sick.
I'm gonna look them up right now.
Yeah. At least they're gonna look cool. I think I'm trying to give them anything I can here, dude.
Anything, and I'm sure Saints fans appreciate it.
Rattler's 0-9 as a starter.
Yeah.
On pressure dropbacks this season, though, he does rank in the top 4 in completion percentage. So there is kind of a bright spot there. He's at least able to complete passes when he's got pressure in his face. He's got 2 passing touchdowns with pressure and 83.8% passer rating. And the Bills just beat the Miami Dolphins. Nothing crazy. The Dolphins had a chance at the end of the game to win. They were down 7 with a little over 2 minutes left, and Tua threw an interception that was returned 26 yards. And therefore, they were able to take a field goal to win by 10. But that game was pretty close. Yeah. And I think this game could be somewhat of the same. I'm going to back the Saints here. I'm going to back the Saints in the points because of their uniforms and because I think 16 and a half is just too much for any NFL team ever.
Yeah, it's a lot. And those color rush uniforms for the Saints actually look pretty sick too. I like the uniforms for sure, but the Bills so far through 3 weeks have scored a minimum of 30 points each game. Regardless of whether, it took an interception last week against the Dolphins to get those 31 points, they're still scoring 30 points per game. I can see this being a bit of a tough game for the Bills to start off because we know that their defense isn't amazing. We know it's not a Denver or a Rams kind of defense, right? Or even a Giants defense. Yeah, they let up a lot of points, the Giants, but man, they've got some ferocious guys up front. So we know that it's not a top tier defense yet. I think they're getting there. They've got some guys on there as well. I mean, Ed Oliver's punching balls out. Rapp is hitting hard and getting interceptions. Like that's the kind of defense that the Bills have, but they do let up a lot of points. So I don't know if the 16, I don't think that's going to be the something that's going to happen, the 16 and a half points, because I think in the first half, this is going to be a bit of a tough one. But I've still got the Bills killing the Saints. I think it's going to be a 34-20 game. So they don't technically cover. They win by 2 touchdowns, but they don't technically cover. Yeah.
Okay.
So technically, the Bills score 30 points again. They are at home. But I think, again, Rattler, Kamara, Olave, oh my God, what's his name? The tight end. I can't think of his name right now. But those guys are going to make it tough for the Bills at the very beginning. And then the Bills are going to run away with it sometime in the third quarter. And their fans are going to be happy. They're going to go 4-0. Rattler's going to go 0-10 as a starter. And the Saints are going to start off the season 0-4. I feel so bad for Kellen Moore, man. This was such a shitty situation to walk into as a head coach. But if you're Kellen Moore, you're not only looking at the money that you're going to get as a head coach, but you're looking at the opportunity to be one of 32. There's only 32 jobs. People say this all the time. There's only 32 jobs. When you are offered a head coaching gig, you're going to take it, man. It is an exclusive club. So Kellen Moore, regardless of the situation, he said, yeah, I'm going to take it and I'm going to try my best to, right the ship. And unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen this year. I don't think it happens with Spencer Rattler, but I think they can put up a fight against the Bills in the first half that by halftime, a lot of people are like, oh my God, are the Saints about to win this game? And then the Bills run away with it in the third quarter.
Yeah, and the Saints don't have like any real capital, and they're negative 200 million or whatever. It's like,
how is that possible?
They're not even giving him the flexibility,
Yeah.
All right, my game of the week: the Tennessee Titans at Houston Texans.
Ooh.
Look, you might have thought the game of the week was going to be the Eagles and Tampa, or maybe the Broncos and Bengals on Monday night.
Doubt it.
It's the winless Titans against the winless Texans. And one of these teams is going to no longer be winless. And if it's the Titans, things are going to get really weird in Houston. But I think this is another week where I keep getting burned by Tennessee, right? I continue to back them with the points. They continue to not cover, and I'm going to do it again. I know that it sounds crazy, but we have some real changes going on right now. The play calling duties are going not to the offensive coordinator. I don't know if you've heard about this. This is really.
I think I did. Yeah.
The Titans are going to be giving the where did I see it? Play calling duties. It didn't go to the OC. I think it went to the quarterback coach.
Let me see here. I'm going to look up the article because I'm seeing what you're saying. Yeah, 0-3. Callahan is giving up duties. Quarterbacks coach Bo Hardigree.
Okay. So, look, we know that anytime we get a new coach, whether it's an interim head coach or a new play caller, it provides immediate spark. Part of it is that there's nothing on film with whatever coach this is.
Yeah.
So there's a unpredictability factor, but the other side of it is that the players they want to play good for whatever, whoever that coach is. And sometimes you just need something different. And it's clear that Tennessee's in that area right now where they just need a spark and they're trying something different. But Cam Ward, I will continue to say he's going to be a good quarterback. The Titans aren't a good team right now. They have a lot of areas that need improvement. They're not getting great separation at the receiver position.
Yeah.
And Cam Ward is throwing the ball too fast at times. Like, I can't believe I'm saying this in the NFL, but very, very reminiscent of Brett Favre, just throwing like lasers for no reason sometimes. But it's resulting in a lot of drops from his team. But, man, I think Cam Ward, I went back and watched the film again last week, and I love what I'm seeing from Cam Ward. Enough so where I'm like, look, the Texans are struggling massively offensively. Why are they getting a full touchdown in this game? Because Tennessee's struggling. It's like, okay, that only makes sense if the other team's also not struggling,
Yeah.
Look, if it was 3 or 4, I would go with the Texans, but you're going to give me 7. I'm going to go with the Titans here with a new play caller, get a little spark, Cam Ward, something to play for.
Yeah, this one is a tough one for me. I was looking at this game and I'm like, division matchup. Both teams don't have a win yet. Callahan seat is like hot, and D'Amico Ryans, I feel like maybe there's a bit of there's like an ignition starting, on the fire. Like there's a pilot light and somebody's trying to start, the fire there, but it's
Mike McDaniel's pilot light.
No, the Mike McDaniel's seat is on fire. Like he is currently burning at the seat. It just hasn't gotten all the way through his body.
Like last year, how the pilot light came on.
Yeah, I guess I could. Yeah, I could see that because they had made the playoffs. A couple years prior, they had an awesome offense, and similar to the Texans with D'Amico Ryans, like their defense is one of the best units out there. Their offense over the last 2 seasons has been not good, and it has made CJ Stroud look really, really bad. I mean, CJ Stroud and Cam Ward have the same amount of touchdowns. Stroud has 2 more interceptions, 3-1, and Stroud only has like less than 100 yards more passing than Cam Ward. So this is a bad season for CJ Stroud so far. I don't know what they have to do offensively. Brian Callahan is giving up the play calling duties to his quarterbacks coach. I don't know if there already needs to be a switch in the Texans because we saw what they were 2 seasons ago and what they've been over the last season and 4 games so far. And it's just, it has gotten steadily worse over that period of time. So I don't know what needs to happen in Houston, but whatever's happening now is just not working. The defense, don't even touch it. Like that is a solid unit. Again, it kind of just reminds me of the Bears for the longest time. It's like the defense is doing really well and doing everything to keep you in games, and the offense just stutters. It just cannot produce long drives, and it can't produce scoring, which is going to kill you, obviously, at the end of each game. I feel like John Madden, you got to score more points in order to win the game. So this one is tough, man. I mean, the -7 for Houston, I guess, but like Tennessee isn't showing me anything either. Like they have a defense that is decent enough to stop an offense, and to stop the Houston offense, I think it might be good enough. Interestingly enough about the Titans, right? You talked about Cam Ward. His leading receiver is his tight end, which to me has always been like, all right, safety blanket tight end for a rookie quarterback, a second-year play caller, things like that, right? Calvin Ridley has only caught 1/3 of his targets. He is the second leading receiver, 111 yards, but he's only caught 1/3 of his targets. So when we talk about how Cam Ward is like, or how this offense is struggling, I get that you do have to make a change if you're the head coach, but tell your receivers to catch the damn ball. Like, especially your number one, or at least supposedly number one with Calvin Ridley, like help your quarterback out, man. This is why you're no longer in Atlanta. This is why you had to go through the shit that you had to go through. And now you're proving that, hey, you aren't a long-term, wide receiver one. Could you be? Sure, but you keep dropping balls and catching 1/3 of your targets over a season. That's not going to get you anywhere near like top wide receiver money. And I'm sure Ridley knows that, but it's just crazy to me that going into the season, we were looking at Ridley to be like, oh, Ridley with Cam Ward, this might be a very good marriage here, right? Like it's going to look good. And so far he has let Cam Ward down. Like Cam Ward is doing really well as a rookie. Yeah, he's only got 2 passing touchdowns, but he looks good in the pocket, decision-making as a rookie quarterback on a dumpster fire of a team. Going into Houston against this defense, though, for the Texans, I don't think they can produce enough firepower on the offensive side even with Cam Ward, and Tony Pollard is playing decent. But they're not going to be able to produce enough firepower against this Texans defense. And to be honest, I don't know if the Houston's offense is going to be able to produce enough firepower to really win this game convincingly. I think it's going to be like a 14-10 snoozer, dude. I know this is your game of the week, and for reasons, obviously, because they're both defeated teams.
Well,
but
if you love that type, my uncle, like if you told him that score, he would like, that's a must watch game for him. That's his
it's a defensive battle. Yeah. I can see this being a 14-10. 17-13, a really, really low scoring game. The over-under is 38.5. I might bet the under there, but at the end of the day, I got to take the Houston Texans defense to win this game. So I'm going Texans 17-13, 14-10. You name the score. I don't know if it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I mean, taking under at 38.5 is insane, but I wouldn't blame you. We'll see what happens. I mean, the Texans now, they've had like 4 games where D'Amico Ryans hasn't had an offensive touchdown. So if it is another one of those games, things could get weird. Really quick. So we'll keep an eye on that. There's a couple other games that I mentioned are going to be really good. One of them, the Philadelphia Eagles going into Tampa Bay. Now, this was, I think, a playoff game last year or a couple years ago. And
yeah, I think the Commanders beat the Tampa Bay Bucks last year.
Yeah, the Eagles got beat by the Eagles, and that was the year the Eagles got both their coordinators went to be head coaches, and they weren't really themselves, and then they got beat by Tampa in the playoffs, and now this game's in Tampa. Look, the Eagles dusted off A.J. Brown off the shelf last week, finally, and it turns out he's still a really good wide receiver, and the same goes for Devontae Smith. They found themselves down, I believe it was 26-6 in that game against the Rams, and they were able to come back and win that game, which is like very Philly to do. It's just becoming something that's kind of normal. Is like you're up big on them, and it's like just hold on, don't celebrate, because the Eagles are going to come back and make it a game. And unfortunately for the Rams, it was a come behind win, and imagine what the record would be if they used them all the time. Oh yeah, they would still be 3-0. Okay, never mind. Seriously, like AJ Brown is way too good of a receiver I think he had one catch week 1. So the Buccaneers won't be able to cover him and Devontae Smith. So if the Eagles thought last week was fun, I think they should try to do it again. And maybe that was not really just like a one offer, but that was kind of the spark to get the offense going post Kellen Moore. Because Kellen Moore is with the Saints, and they are trying to kind of figure out what their identity is this year. But what we saw when they were down 26-6 looked like something that you would say, let's do more of that. But, the Eagles are a really good team, and really good teams can find different ways to win football games. And that's what's really cool is they can win because their defense gets turnovers. They can win because they ran for 240 yards with Saquon Barkley, or they can win because Jalen Hurts threw it for, 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. It's pretty incredible. So this to me is a spot where I'm going to have to go with the Eagles because you got Mike Evans dealing with an injury. You got Chris Godwin making his season debut. They may not be able to pitch count him the way they want to with Mike Evans being gone. You might be throwing him kind of into the mix. And then Emeka Ibuka, he's a really great option. You got Cade Oden. You got Bucky Irving. You got Baker Mayfield, the grittiest quarterback in the league. But I just don't know if it's going to be enough. But what I'm willing to do here to satisfy myself, I'm willing to take the plus 3.5, and I say Tampa, as long as they only lose by a field goal, I'm comfortable with that. I'm going to take Tampa plus 3.5, but I kind of like that bet more than any of them because number one, if you take the Eagles minus 3.5, they play a close game, you're going to lose. And would it be shocking if Tampa? Baker's so gritty, like he's gonna find a way that you're gonna look up and it's gonna be a game in the fourth quarter. Don't be surprised by it. So you're really gonna just be kicking yourself if you bet against Baker to lose by more than a field goal. I just don't see it. So I'm gonna go Tampa. And then if Tampa wins outright, you cover. So just go plus 3.5. It's the safest move here.
Yeah, this I kind of like that, and this game is going to be a very good game. I mean, 2 undefeated teams, and Super Bowl winner, playoff division champions for 5 years in a row now with the Bucks at home. I think the Bucks fans are going to be disappointed at home. I really do. I gotta go with the visiting team in the Eagles. You mentioned Ibuka. You mentioned Evans with the injury. Like Ibuka's already a stud at wide receiver, and obviously it's his rookie year. But AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, that tandem together is just, it outweighs that Ibuka talent right there. And like you said, Baker Mayfield, just a guy who goes and gets it when his team needs it. Like regardless of the situation, that guy's going to do everything he can to try to win the game. And Jalen Hurts, like, he's been struggling passing the ball over the first 3 weeks. Like, the passing game hasn't necessarily been there. But they're still finding ways to win games. And whether that's with Saquon, whether that's with their defense, they are winning games. And I think they're going to find a way to win this game in Tampa Bay. I just don't know if it's going to be on the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball. Because last week, special teams played a huge part in that win against the Rams. The Rams were about to kick a field goal and win the game, and they said, nope, let's block this real quick and return it for a touchdown. So I just don't know. Like, Philadelphia is winning games, but it's not like how they were winning games last year, where you're like, Saquon's running down your throat. Hurts is throwing it to Devontae Smith or AJ Brown for 3 scores a game or whatever. They're finding ways to win, but it's not necessarily one or the other. So I think they're going to find a way to win this game again. I think the 3.5. I think that's a good bet. I think it's going to be close. I'm going to go 27-26. Eagles beat the Bucks.
27-26. So my bet would cover there.
Yep.
I love it. All right. Next up, we got the Washington Commanders -1 at Atlanta, 1:00. Look, the Jaden Daniels thing's kind of weird. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
For those that haven't been keeping up, Jaden Daniels has a knee sprain. He hinted that he was like good to go, but he isn't allowed to go until the doctor gives him the approval. And then they even asked him in the press conference, like, how he received the news from Dan Quinn that they were going to go with Marcus Mariota. And he was like, let's leave that between me and Dan. And it's like,
yeah,
the fact is Jaden's a competitor and he wants to be on the field. Dan's having conversations with the doctors, and Jaden Daniels believes they're in different places, whether Jaden should play or not. Jaden wants to go. The doctors aren't ready. It looks like Dan Quinn's just listening to the doctors. That's pissing off Jaden Daniels. And then your last game was against Green Bay, where the team looked really bad. Yeah. The offense couldn't do anything. And then your replacement, for lack of better words, that's how it feels when you're standing there.
Yeah.
Goes out there and drops 40. And you're thinking, crap, like, that should have been me. Like, that was my 40-point game. Yep. And now I'm sitting here and everybody's thinking that I'm the problem. He's still a really young quarterback. I have to keep in mind that young quarterbacks are still very fragile. You have to be careful with how you deal with these type of things with them. In Jaden, I don't know if he's going to play in this game. I really don't.
Yeah.
It's hard to predict a game when you don't know if he's going to play. But it seems like the sophomore slump is what they call it.
That term. You love that term.
I don't. But it seems like Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix, Bo Nix. It seems like this whole quarterback class is struggling a little bit right now. And they all just want to be out there and competing so that they can have a game that just gets everyone to shut up. They just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
And the longer that Jaden sits on the bench, I think the more frustrating it is. But yeah, I mean, the Falcons sophomore slumper has completed 32.4% of his passes. That's 11 of 24 on throws 10 plus yards downfield. So Michael Penix Jr. is not like being very successful at pushing the ball downfield. And one thing though he is doing well is he was like one of the most accurate quarterbacks with completion percentage when there's pressure. So he does a really good job with pressure, and not just physical pressure, but late game pressure. He has a bunch of like game leading drives for as young as he is. So he's somebody that you want to have the ball late in the game. Atlanta, I don't know what to make of them right now. I really
Yeah.
don't. They're coming off a 30-0 loss. Like, what do you do with that? And obviously, I don't think they're going to lose like that again. But whatever happened last week, how can I be sure that what has been diagnosed and dealt with? And then the Commanders are coming off a win. I think the Commanders are just the better team, and I think I would just take Commanders -1, because I think the Commanders are only getting 1 point. They're a 1-point favorite. That's basically them saying this is a toss-up game, and it's like, hold on, is it? Because Washington was in the NFC Championship game last year.
Yeah.
Washington, yeah, I get that they didn't have their best game against Green Bay, but they just had a dominating win. And I think whether Jaden plays or not, why do we keep putting Atlanta in this conversation where it's like, yeah, they could go out there and beat the Commanders? They've won one game since the preseason started. And we just continue to be like, but they're such a talented team. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I really don't. And until Atlanta goes to an NFC Championship game, I don't want to see them next to Washington as a 1-point underdog. They should be a 4.5, 5.5 point underdog. So I'm going to go with the Commanders -1. And Atlanta people can continue to get disappointed. Show me something. Do you want me to think different? They have to show us something. Like, at some point, Atlanta has to go be a good football team.
Yeah, I agree. And they're at home, and after getting blown out by the Panthers, if I'm being honest, I think this is the game where they show it. I think this might be the game where Penix actually kind of shows out a little bit more and completes those deep passes to Pitts, to oh my God, what's his name? Why am I forgetting his name? Drake London. Yeah, thank you. And Bijan can kind of go off. Now, this is after a blowout loss. So I think Raheem Morris and those guys are going to want to show out at home and show their fans that, hey, look, last week may have been a really bad game, but we're coming back home and we're showing you that we still give a shit about football. We still care about winning. And I think they showed out against the Commanders, man. Jaden Daniels right now, according to Commanders Wire, is listed on this week's injury report, limited participation in practice for his knee. So I think we're going to have to wait until either tomorrow or game day to know whether he's going to play in this game. And I've said it before, and this is just me being such a cautious Bears fan, like with Justin Fields a couple years ago, and even sometimes with Caleb Williams last season. I was like, look, I get that these guys are competitors and want to go out there if they say they feel good, but as a fan, you don't want your franchise quarterback to go out there and just something happen where it's like RG3 all over again, especially the Commanders. They've already gone through that. They don't need to go through it again with Jaden Daniels, who his rookie season was outstanding and went all the way to the NFC Championship game. Like, I can understand the competitiveness when you feel like shit and you're like, no, I can still play. I'm going out there. But at this point in time for Jaden Daniels, like, they won a game with Mariota and they won it convincingly. Can they do it against the Falcons? Well, we've yet to see that, but I think they have a really good shot at it. I think Jaden Daniels needs to rest another week and get that knee 100% better before he goes out there. And I think Dan Quinn is going to be like, whatever the doctors say, dude, I'm sorry, but I'm going with that. Like, you're not going to play if the doctors say no, and especially if your knee doesn't look great. So
I think the doctors are going to say no.
I think so too. I think they're going to protect the person and not go with the player mentality, which is probably, in my opinion, the best route to go. And again,
if it's a toss-up, Marcus played so good last week that you're not going with Jaden.
100%. Like, he played well enough that you don't necessarily, you may not need Jaden Daniels heroics or deep ball, whatever, anything that he does offensively as a quarterback. Like, you won't need it if you guys can just win the game. If you guys can squeak out with a win, especially away, perfect. Like, whether it's like a 20-17, a 21-20 game, something like that, like, a win is a win. And Jaden Daniels is only going to continue to heal from his knee and then just go from there. So I think, yeah, we're going to have to wait either till tomorrow or game day to figure out whether Jaden Daniels is playing or not. Now with the defenses, Atlanta's defense in terms of yard per game has not been bad. I mean, they're second or third defensively in terms of yards. I don't know what the points are, but I mean, they let up a lot of points, especially after the 30-0 blowout last week against Carolina. But the Falcons defense hasn't been terrible. Now the Commanders defense, on the other hand, like they're okay, but they've given up 24 points to the Raiders, 27 to Green Bay, and then 6 to the Giants, which, you know, obviously it was Russ's first week. So I think that's kind of fair. I'm going to give the edge here to the Falcons, especially at home. I'm going to edge the Falcons here at home. And if Mariota does play, I don't know if he could play well enough to take that dub, but I think this is going to be a close game. I'm going to go.
These guys stink.
24-21. Falcons right the ship at home and go, what is it, 2-2 now? They'd be going 2-2. Yeah, they'd be going 2-2. And I think the Commanders also fall to 2-2. And we've got an appearance by Woody, the dog of the football gods. Who's Woody taking in this matchup?
Who do you got, Woody? Who do you got?
That's some good analysis by Woody.
Atlanta.
Oh, let's go.
He said he heard Atlanta Falcons have quarterbacks that love dogs.
Oh God. Oh my God. What are you in for a treat?
There you go, buddy. You can
yeah, dude. I'm gonna take Atlanta at home.
All right. The Carolina Panthers going to New England. New England 5.5-point favorites. I feel like New England continues to get favorable spreads, even though they keep losing.
Yeah.
Carolina just beat Atlanta 30-0, which, you know, we just talked about, and they probably have no idea how that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Which is crazy because you want to be able to replicate it, but Bryce Young didn't even play well. I have no strong feeling on this game for either side for that.
Yeah.
Part of me is thinking, like, you know, just go with the home team. You know, the Patriots have a real issue with the fundamentals, which is the most surprising because when they hired Vrabel, it's like, well, at least they're going to be fundamentally sound. They're not going to miss tackles or, you know, blow assignments. They have a 17.8 missed tackle rate.
Ooh,
that's the third highest in the NFL. And they turn over the ball tied for second with 6. So I think, and look, I think Ramondre Stevenson had 3 fumbles. 2 of them were inside the 10-yard line, about to score a touchdown. And they kind of, I guess, just like gave that game to, I mean, credit the Steelers for ripping the ball out on the 1-yard line, punching the ball out. Like, these are insane things that, you know, the Patriots don't make that fumble. They win against the Steelers. Maybe this line, you know, is at 7 for the Patriots. And I just don't feel comfortable one way or another. So I'm going to go with the home team. I like what I saw from Carolina last week, but like I said, I don't feel like they have any idea how that happened. And I don't think that it's like a formula that they can repeat. And then for the Patriots, what are we going to see with Trayvon Henderson? Because it took 3 fumbles for him to get the nod to come in and start. Are we going to see Ramondre Stevenson like back in his usual role? Or is it going to be like a 60-40 with Trayvon Henderson getting the nod? And if he does really well, you know, will that turn into 70-30 down the road? It's a big opportunity at running back potentially for Trayvon Henderson, who's really an electric player out of Ohio State. He had that kickoff return in the preseason. And we'll see. I mean, I feel like we're still gathering a lot of data. It's only week 4, and this is going to be an important game for us to learn about both of these teams.
You had mentioned the fundamentals earlier with the Patriots. And then you mentioned the running backs, Travion Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson. Neither of them have over 100 yards on the season. Neither of them have a touchdown. The leading rusher, technically, and leading touchdown getter, rushing-wise, is Drake May. He's got the same amount of rush yards as Ramondre Stevenson through 3 weeks, and he's actually got a touchdown. And Drake May, for the most part, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, almost 800 yards passing. Not bad for second year. So Drake May is kind of the offense right now driving the Patriots.
I think Will Campbell had a big game last week, actually. I think he didn't give up a single sack or pressure.
Okay.
I had, because I remember doing the recap, and let's see, I think I still have it right here. Patriots had 14 missed tackles. Oh, God. They had 14 missed tackles in that game, and there was something about what's the guy's name that people were wondering about his arms, if they were long enough?
It's the guy they drafted.
Will Campbell.
Will Campbell, yeah.
Patriots left tackle Will Campbell against the Steelers, 47 passing snaps, 7 pressures, 0 sacks allowed, 87.2 one-on-one win percentage. So I only brought that up because you said Drake May's leading in rushing yards, and I'm thinking, well, he's probably running for his life. But we did see last week that at least Will Campbell's holding the left side of the line down.
Exactly. And I had mentioned about the tight ends with rookie signal callers, second year signal callers. Hunter Henry is the leading receiver right now for the Patriots. He has 165 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns, more than Boutte, who has 1 touchdown, 147 yards on 9 receptions. So Drake May is able to get the ball out to his guys, to his receivers. And, Will Campbell, the offensive line, is doing pretty well. It's just the running game is bad. But going up against Carolina, they so far through 3 weeks have the 24th ranked rushing defense. So maybe Ramondre Stevenson, maybe Travion Henderson can actually get this going, because that Mike Vrabel is missing having a running back like Hunter Henry, like he did in Tennessee, right? Like he is missing that. He's like, who am I going to go with, Stevenson or Travion Henderson? Like neither of them have shown anything so far this season, and it's been a struggle to get the run game going. So the defenses have been able to kind of pin their ears back or even just defend the pass against Drake May, which for the most part, I think is he's still doing pretty well as a passer. Now on the other side with Carolina, we saw them blow out the Falcons, but like you said, was it a super impressive game? Was it a Bryce Young, he threw for 350 yards or something, 3 touchdowns type of game? Not really, right? It wasn't anything spectacular. And this offense, for as well as it looked towards the end of the season last year with Carolina, it's not looking that way right now. Chuba Hubbard, I think, has been their best player, 168 rushing yards, no touchdowns, which is a little weird, but I think he's probably been their best guy, other than Tet McMillan, the wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers. Xavier Legette, see ya, dude. Sorry, but you have not lived up to your draft status, and we've talked about it already last week. Tet McMillan is absolutely killing it. We got Ibuka on one side with the Tampa Bay Bucks, and we got Tet McMillan on the other side with the Carolina Panthers, who those 2 rookie receivers are probably going to be up there for offensive rookies of the years, at least in terms of voting. If Cam Ward can't get really anything going for this year. But Tet McMillan, Hubbard, those are the guys that's going to be the main focus here for the offense for the Carolina Panthers, at least so far during this young season. I don't know. I thought they were rushing the ball pretty well, but this game might land on the shoulders of Bryce Young, because the Patriots right now have the 2nd or 3rd best rushing defense. So it's going to be tough for the Panthers and Chuba Hubbard to get the ball going on the ground. They might have to rely on Bryce Young and Tet McMillan. I just don't know how much you can get going if you are solely focused on the pass. I think I'm going to be with you on this one. I think I got to give it to the home team for the Patriots. I think they get their 2nd win of the season, and the Panthers fall to 1-3, and Canales and Bryce Young are on the hot seat, starting to get on the hot seat. I know it's only the 2nd year of Canales and third year of Bryce Young, but it's going to be getting there soon. But I'm going to give the edge to New England because of the rushing defense and how much better Drake May has looked with his new and improved offensive line.
Yeah, and the Panthers looked so good when Bryce Young came back off the bench last year. And you're just hoping like somehow they can get back to that. But the Panthers just haven't looked the same. But you're right. Like the hot seat, it's going to start warming up. It's early, but 1-2, not a big deal. 1-3, big deal. Because if you win, you're back to 500 and the world's back in order. If you lose, there's a lot of 1-2 teams that if those teams lose, shit gets real sour real quick. So we'll see what happens there. Next up, we got the Cleveland Browns, who are a 1-2 team. They just beat the Green Bay Packers, and now they're playing at Detroit. Detroit is a 10-point favorite in this game. Is that right?
Let's see. I'm about to open up the.
See, it went down to 9.5.
I'm seeing on CBS -10, Detroit.
All right. So, look, if it's at 10, I'm taking Cleveland. Plus 10. I mean, look, a couple things for this game. Cleveland's defensive line has now completely wrecked the Bengals, the Ravens, and the Packers offensive line, and they did it in 3 consecutive weeks. Now you had Jordan Love running for his life. They had 10 points in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left, or 6 points, right? The Packers didn't have an offensive touchdown with 2 minutes left in that game. So it was, I think, 3-6 or something.
Wait, are you talking about Packers Browns last week?
Yeah.
No, it was 10-0 in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes left.
10-0. So
yeah,
maybe they had a defensive touchdown.
Who, the Packers?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
I will look that up right now. Give me 1 second.
I think I read in my recap the Packers, maybe it was with 3 minutes left in the third quarter. I think that's what it was. With 3 minutes left in the third quarter, the Packers didn't have an offensive touchdown yet. And then they finally got one. And
Love to Fitzpatrick was the passing touchdown.
And that was late in the third quarter, early fourth?
Yeah, it was in the third quarter, and it was 3 minutes, 29 seconds.
Okay, yep. So, you got to give credit to this Cleveland defense, man. They've been really putting opposite quarterbacks in a tough spot. They've been having to run for their life. And credit the rookie Mason Graham, who's in the middle now, who's kind of made a massive difference for the Browns because now Myles Garrett has been the league's most effective pass rusher through the first 3 weeks. And how will it all hold up on the road against Detroit, who just came off of a monster game? I think this is kind of this is a bad spot for the Lions. Anytime you have an emotional win like beating the Ravens in Baltimore, and you do it on Monday night, and then all of a sudden it's a short week and you got to play a Browns team with nothing to lose. Like, I'm going to take the Browns plus 10 here, but it's not really like because I don't believe in Detroit. It's just one of those games where it's the NFL, and Cleveland has showed you now weeks in a row that they're going to be a really good defense this year. That's the way it's going to be. So Baltimore is a really bad defense. So I think the line's a little inflated because we're thinking Detroit's offense is going to run for 240 yards.
Yeah.
I just don't see that being the case in this game. Somebody in my fantasy football group chat had texted before the game started saying Quinshon Judkins is going to go off. And I was like, who the hell is that?
Oh, the running back?
Yeah. And it was, the rookie running back he had like some off the field stuff. It ended up getting resolved and he made his first start and he led them with 155 yards rushing. Despite missing a game with those legal issues. He also pancaked Micah Parsons in the win over the Packers.
Wow.
He's the only compliment to the Browns defense that ranks second in NFL in opponents' yards per play, 3.8, trailing only the Packers with 3.7. I like the emotional win. The Lions on a short week, the running back that they feel like they have now. The vibes are just kind of there for Cleveland. Yeah, they might lose this game, but if you're going to offer me 10, I'll take it.
Yeah, this one is going to be a very interesting matchup because obviously
better in a dome, right?
Is he better in a dome? I'm not too sure.
He did. What was his good season with the Colts, right?
Well, even with the Browns, Flacco record.
He was okay with Browns, but I was thinking with the Colts, he was like
10-3
with the Colts in a dome.
Is in a dome.
Okay, yeah. So we got him in a dome this week.
I can buy that a little bit. Jared Goff has been doing it for 4 years now. You know what I mean? So
Jerry Jeudy breakout game.
Jerry Jeudy breakout game against the Lions. He has done
nothing this year.
Yeah. I know. After somewhat of a kind of a get back year last year with the Browns, but this is an interesting one. The Cleveland Browns are 4 in passing yards per game, number 1 in rushing yards per game. So, like you said, the defense is no joke. Like, it's the offense that is letting them down. And if Quinshon Judkins is back for the Browns, at least they can, do something offensively with the running back. So far, the Flacco and that offense, hasn't really done much either. You saw when they beat the Packers, it took, heroics late in the fourth quarter to actually get there. So they're not really doing much throughout the games offensively. So it's going to be a tough one. Detroit can run the ball and they can pass the ball, but against a much tougher defense like the Browns, they haven't really gone up against really, really good defenses yet. Other than the Packers, Chicago and Baltimore, 2 defenses that gave up a ton of points and are kind of buried down in terms of rankings. But Cleveland's going to be another test for that offense to see if they are still similar to what they were the last couple seasons, where their offense is just so high powered that they can get over the hump against really good defenses. So this is going to be another good test for the Lions to see if they really are back to form. And at home, Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, these guys, I'm going to give it to the Lions to take the dub and go 3-1 and prove that, that game against the Packers was more of a, once in a season type of thing where they didn't look great. People were talking trash about them. The coordinators being lost, the offense not looking the same. Their offense has been much, much better over the last 2 games and obviously trending upwards. So I think it's going to happen against the Browns, but I can see this being a very low scoring game. And I'm looking at the over under 44.5. Yeah, I don't think I'm taking the under on this game too, because I don't trust the Cleveland offense. I trust the Detroit offense more, but that Detroit offense against the Cleveland defense is going to limit the points being scored. I think Dan Campbell goes for it on 4th down 3 times this game. Like that's what it is. Like they're going to be in a 4th and 2, 4th and 3 in Cleveland Browns territory. And I think he's going to go for it 3 times in this game, but I'm going to take the Lions to win this game at home. And I would take the points against Cleveland. They held the Packers to only 10 points for an entire game last week. I don't think it's going to be that much of a free for all on the Detroit offense, but I think they take the dub. I will go 2014.
Do you see Russell Wilson's quote after being benched? I'm not done.
You're done, dude. you're done.
Yeah. Sorry, had to throw that out there. Okay. The Indianapolis Colts. Wait, no. I'm sorry.
Nope.
I'm sorry. I was kidding. I got you guys so good,
Woo,
man.
you guys thought we were talking about the Colts.
You guys thought we were talking about the Colts. We want to talk mothers.
We want to talk mothers.
The Jacksonville Jaguars at San Francisco. We're going to talk that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The 49ers are getting -3.5. They are the favorite by more than a field goal. The 49ers are coming off 3 close wins. I'm going Jacksonville +3.5. Look,
Okay.
Nick Bosa, he's
Yeah,
done, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's there is not a bigger loss on the defensive side than that. They already are without Brock Purdy. They've been going with Mac Jones. They also don't have an offensive touchdown. Now we can focus on the good stuff. I mean a rushing touchdown, not an offensive touchdown. I meant a rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
The good stuff is that CMC's been playing a heavy amount of snaps, and he's healthy. Ricky Pearsall is a breakout star. They might be getting Jawan Jennings back. And Mac Jones is being kind of point guard in this offense that Kyle Shanahan wanted. So, would I be shocked if San Francisco pulled it off? No. And I think San Francisco is going to win. And I was trying to remind people, it's like, I had Jacksonville being a 10-win team this year, but like a 10-win team still loses 7 games. And this might just be one of them. It's a far road trip. You got to go from Jacksonville all the way to San Francisco, Santa Clara. It's really far. You're jumping 3 time zones or 2 time zones. So this might be a good spot for the 49ers to kind of catch their breath because they're facing the Rams next Thursday night. The Jaguars, they've been dropping a lot of passes too. They have a good defensive line. I'm going with the Jaguars. I'm taking the Jaguars here.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know it's weird, but I am.
Yeah.
And it, Liam Cohen, he was under the coaching staff with the Rams before he went to Tampa. And that's why he worked with Baker when Baker was with the Rams. And when you're with the Rams, you game plan against the 49ers all the time. And the Rams really had the 49ers number. I mean, McVay is just like Kyle Shanahan's daddy. And part of that relationship, I think Liam Cohen, he might still have that thing over the 49ers. I'm gonna this is the first time we're seeing Liam Cohen on a Jacksonville team playing the 49ers, but if he still knows how to game plan against Kyle Shanahan like he did with the Rams, the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to play a good game, and the 49ers are kind of dealing with a lot of stuff right now. So I'm at least taking Jacksonville +3.5. Leave the door open for the 49ers to win by a field goal, but more than a field goal, I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, this one's a tough one because the 49ers offense has been good, and especially with Mac Jones kind of being, revitalized by Kyle Shanahan. These coaches, man, they take these veterans and they're just like, yeah, no, I'm going to make them good again. Make backups good again. So this is an interesting one. And Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence, none of what Jacksonville has done offensively is really impressed. But the crazy thing is San Francisco has played those first 3 weeks and all their wins have come within 5 points, like a score and even less than a score, right? Like you would need a touchdown or a field goal to beat San Francisco in these games. So the defense is playing really well, but the offense is also lackluster. So both of these offenses are pretty lackluster to me.
They went
so far.
They went 4 for 16 on 3rd and 4th downs against the Texans, and they averaged 4.4 yards per play. This is a terrible offense right now.
Yeah, both of these teams are offensively, I guess I should say, are underwhelming coming into this year, thinking that, oh, okay, well, San Francisco's got a bit more of an excuse with some injuries, but Jacksonville, I mean, they brought in Travis Hunter, you got Etienne, and you have Brian Thomas Jr., who has somewhat disappeared from his rookie season, although maybe it just might be taking a little bit more time for him. But the offenses have been underwhelming, to say the least. San Francisco -3.5. I think I'll take the points. I think this is going to be another close game. I think this could be like a 17-16 game. You know, it's going to be that close. San Francisco has played 3 close games in a row. I don't think this one's going to be any different. And again, the Bosa injury, season-ending injury, you hate to see Bosa go out, just like any other defensive player, kind of like the Aiden Hutchinson of last year. But I still think this is going to be a very close game. Yeah, I'm taking the points there. 17-16 Niners win. Daniel Berry.
I feel like I could see it also being like 20-24 in the Niners cover.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm with you. I wouldn't be shocked if it's final score Jacksonville 20, 49ers 24. I wouldn't be like, how?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nothing offensively for these teams. They haven't like gone on this crazy like, oh my god, the 49ers have scored 37 points or something like that.
Yeah. This is my game of the week part 2. The Indianapolis Colts at Los Angeles Rams. This is kind of a stop everything you're doing and turn this game on. I will definitely be watching this. I'm trying to figure something out. You know, when it's like, I think I've seen that meme where it says like, I want to see something real quick, you know?
Let me see something real quick.
I want to see something real quick. I want to turn this game on. I want to see something real quick. I want to see how good the Colts are. I want to see how they look against the Rams. And the Rams, like I had the Rams as my Super Bowl team for the NFC coming into this year. I thought that they dominated the Eagles for 90% of the game and then lost. Like I said, I think it was 26-6 at one point, and the Rams just, you know, they gave up that lead and lost, and it sucks. Because like the Rams showed you how good they are, and then they showed you how bad they can be, and they did it all in one game. And I think a lot of people are just like, all right, they're trying to figure out when Daniel Jones is going to come back to earth.
Yeah.
Or they're trying to figure out if he sold his soul to the devil. Like, and everybody keeps predicting like, oh, this is the game Daniel Jones is going to, you know, it's against Denver's defense. He's, you know, going to show you, you know, that was just a one-offer. And then it was, okay, Tennessee, like going on the road, Tennessee's looking for their first win. Like he's going to come down to earth. And then it didn't happen. And then last week it was like, okay, for sure the Colts are going to come back down to earth. And it's like, no, they were amazing.
Yeah.
And now they're going to LA, and it's like, we're going to find out. I mean, I feel like I'm already no longer looking for data. I feel like I'm a believer. In the Colts. I'm not one of those people that's like looking for the shoe to drop here. I think this is what the Colts are going to do. I think Jonathan Taylor is going to win Offensive Player of the Year. He's a fantasy league winner, and I have him. On the other side, the Rams' offensive line is super banged up right now. Daniel Jones is playing at an elite level, and I saw him live, and when you can see all 22 people at once, you can have a different kind of respect for how good a quarterback's playing. And Daniel Jones is playing at an elite level. The pass rush against Denver was elite. He got rid of the ball in less time than we could sack him. And the coverage was tight, and he put the ball only where his receivers could get it. And he was making these decisions so quick, the ball placement. He's seeing the field extremely well. Tyler Warren's turning into one of the best tight ends in the NFL.
Yeah.
And then you got Pierce, Ali Cox, Michael Pittman, and a great offensive line. And this is all the Colts were looking for all this time, was just a point guard. You know, they're like, we got a great offensive line. We got great weapons. We just need someone that can put the ball in the right spot over and over and over again. And Daniel Jones, what he's doing is not a fluke. This is like really good football, really good quarterback play. And now he's going to go into LA and do it against the Rams. And my big prediction about this game is I think there's going to be 80 points scored in this game.
Oh, might be a shootout.
Yeah, I'm thinking like 38-41, like 78, 79 points, maybe 80. Like I think this game could be ridiculous. But yeah, the Rams are 3.5-point favorites. I would back the Colts.
So you're thinking like a Chiefs Rams from 2018, 2019, whatever that game was. Remember?
Maybe not quite that. I think that
was like 50,
54.
Yeah, it was that crazy. I mean, I could see that for sure because, like you said, Daniel Jones right now is looking awesome. And Shane Steichen is probably like, thank God, because my job is safe. Like all these other coaches on the hot seat, I'm not one of them because I'm 3-0. Daniel Jones has been unlocked.
And we got to credit to Jim Irsay's daughter, who's running that team right now, and she's getting a lot of shit. You know, she's standing
on the sidelines.
She's on the practice field. Add on. People are saying she needs to dress different. People are saying that she needs to be, you know, in the booth and not on the field. But if she was doing that, they would be complaining that she's just a rich billionaire that doesn't care.
Yep.
Like no matter what she does, she's going to get shit because she's a woman that's running an NFL team. And you know what? When's the last time the Colts have looked this good? I'll wait.
Andrew Luck.
It's been a long time since the Colts have looked this good.
A long time.
So some of you guys need to just
Chill out.
Back off and give her flowers. Or whatever the hell she's into, because maybe it doesn't have to be flowers, but chocolate or whatever. Like she's got this Colts team playing with a different heart and a different attitude, and they are bringing the energy every week. And Jim Irsay's gone, and they are honoring his legacy by being one of the few remaining undefeated teams this year. I mean, you couldn't write the story better. Yeah. And again, that whole the look of her on the sidelines, I think to me, honestly, for Colts fans, I think they love it. But I know what you're saying. Like there's probably some criticism thrown her way from fans or whatever. I had a sneeze. Daniel Jones has looked good. Jonathan Taylor has looked good. Daniel Jones has unlocked Pittman Jr. Last year, I had him on my fantasy squad. Was not unlocked. This year, he has been unlocked. So this offense for the Colts has looked really good. And you mentioned Tyler Warren, how good he's looking right now so far as a rookie. Like he could be up there depending how the rest of the season goes for offensive rookie of the year as well. Again, there's a lot of names in the hat right now for offensive rookie of the year. It might go to Cam Ward, it might go to Ted McMillan, whatever, but they're going to put their name in the hat there. And the Colts right now have the best point differential in the NFL. Like I had mentioned last week, or actually, I think it was last week, that the Colts are probably like the Saints of last year, where it's like those first two games, they looked amazing. Their offense looked crazy. They were blowing teams out. And then it was like all downhill from there. Like you said, the Colts seem to be for real. They're playing with heart. They are playing to, their name almost. Jonathan Taylor being kind of the star so far for the Colts. But they're playing really well. And their defense is top 10, I believe, in both rushing and passing yards per game. So their defense is kind of following suit as well. So like you said, this is going to be a very, very good game against the Rams, who have a really good defense, although I don't think their passing defense is as good as their rushing defense. I think their passing, it just falls outside of the top 10. But there's still a lot of names too on the offense. I mean, Stafford obviously is amazing. Kyron Williams has been doing really well. Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. These guys are a high-powered offense, right? Like they can let it go any game, and really for them, it's any given Sunday that they can score 30 plus points. So I'm going to agree. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game.
The Rams -3.5, the over under 49.5. I'm gonna take the over on this game as well. I think it's gonna be another close game too, like you're saying. I think this is like a 31-30, kind of like what you were saying. Did you say 31-30 or did you say something?
38-41.
38-41. I think it's going to be like a 31-30, 34-33 type of game. I think it's within a point, man. I think it could be that close. I think these defenses are gonna show out, but you're going to see glimpses of the offense really break through in this game, and it might come down to who has the ball last. But who would have thought? Rams, Colts, week 4, we'd be talking about this as one of the games of the week.
Yeah, no, nobody
Nope.
had it on the bingo card.
No one.
All right, the Chicago Bears at Las Vegas Raiders, bear down. They were coming off a huge win against the Cowboys in what was the best game we've ever seen out of Caleb Williams.
Mm-hmm.
He threw the deepest pass of his career as well. On
Luther
that
Burden?
60-yard, to Luther Burden. I got the perfect pregame speech for Pete Carroll to the Raiders, and this is how it goes. Hey, you guys. So Tom Brady, minority owner, he pursued Ben Johnson for 6 months, and he offered him enough money to build a spaceship house like Mark Davis. And he said no, he would rather live in Chicago in the winter because he thinks you guys stink.
You guys stink.
And I mean, I feel like that's all you really need to say. Like Tom Brady, 6 months he was pursuing Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
And Ben Johnson was like, no, the Raiders are, they're terrible. So I would rather not. I would rather not live in Las Vegas.
Mm.
And look, Vegas is like a lot of fun. I love Vegas. It's like I will make any excuse to have a layover in Vegas. Like, is there any way I can for free change my flight to the morning instead of
for free?
Go hit the sportsbook casino. Got all the football games on at one time. There's all these different games you can play. It's like Disney World for football fans. But anyway,
Yep.
I mean, I would just love to live there. But no, he chose Chicago.
Woo!
And Bears fans are loving it. But the Raiders, man, I think they were really high on Genty. And out of all running backs with 25 plus carries, Genty is the only one with negative yards before contact per attempt, negative 0.1. And Genty has this is a guy that was drafted in the first round in every fantasy football draft. And people are like, believing that he was going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year and he was going to be the next Adrian Peterson. And right now he's like getting, 30 yards a game. It's just not great. And he's got a couple touchdowns that kind of salvaged, something, but overall it's just not what people expected. The Bears are coming off a really impressive win. God, this is my don't touch it of the week, really. Because like the Raiders are not a team you should back, and I guess I'll go with the Bears. I don't feel like great about it just because the Bears are coming out. I don't like teams coming off emotional losses playing teams that are coming off embarrassing losses. And that's exactly what this is. The Raiders were embarrassed by Washington. The Bears, on the other hand, had one of their best performances ever. That just sets up for someone to be disappointed here. And honestly, I haven't used my don't touch it. I would use it here, but if you're forcing me, I will say go Bears. Let's take the Bears -1 to get it done.
Bear down, boys and girls. I love it. And I can see why this is your don't touch it, because like the Raiders at home with the type of performance they've had this season, like it's been a kind of a whirlwind of emotions for the Raiders. They're coming off
week too. I mean, it's like the Chargers on Monday night. The Raiders lost. And then just 5 days later, they're playing the Commanders
and getting blown out 41-24. So that's 2 losses in a row, and it's kind of like how you were saying. This is a bad loss, and now being at home. you want to kind of get right in front of your fans. So this, like you said, this is a don't touch a game. I can agree with that. And this Geno looks not good. Like he has almost 1,000 yards passing already through 3 weeks, but he just has not looked good doing it. And Raiders fans and even Seahawks fans who had him for the last 3 years or so are saying the same thing. It's like, damn, you know what? Yeah, Geno doesn't look great right now. Sam Darnold was probably the better option, and I'm glad we got him because he's not necessarily outplaying Geno in terms of yardage and stats, but outplaying him where it matters, and that's winning, right? So that's looked bad. Ashton Genty hasn't looked bad. Like Jacoby Myers hasn't looked amazing either for the Raiders. Tucker, I don't know who Tucker is, but it's their wide receiver, has 4 touchdowns. All 4 touchdowns that Geno Smith has thrown have been to Tucker. So maybe he might be the wide receiver 1 moving forward other than Jacoby Myers, although he does have just, like 16, 17 more yards than him receiving. But Brock Bowers is a problem. I think he's still injured. Am I mistaken in thinking that? Or is Bowers still injured?
I didn't know he was injured.
Bowers, I think he was injured maybe for 1 game. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Oh, back to full practice. Never mind. So he's not injured. He's not going to miss the game. I think he's going to play I'm pretty sure he's playing in that game. And the defense for the Raiders has not been anything near impressive. I mean, it's Max Crosby and 10 other guys on the defense. Like that has kind of been it for the Raiders. Like if Max Crosby can't get to the quarterback, cross your fingers that the quarterback misses a pass. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how it's been for the Raiders so far. The Bears. I'm a Bears fan. Not sure if you guys could tell, but the Bears coming off that Dallas win, like you said, they've looked the best they've looked in probably 3-4 years now in that game. 1 game against Dallas, and they've looked amazing. Rome Odunze has caught 4 touchdowns. Rome Odunze is the truth. He's going to be one of the top receivers in the NFL soon. And I'm hoping he gets up there in Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson level, because what he can do on the field is incredible. And the Caleb Williams connection with him is just continuing to grow. Again, 4 touchdowns through 3 games. That's amazing. I think Odunze is going to get a touchdown in this game. I think Kmet gets another touchdown in this game. I think Caleb Williams continues to look really good for the 2nd week in a row. Can he pass for 350 yards? I hope so against this defense. I really do hope so. The biggest question mark for the Bears is the running game. Can DeAndre Swift get it going against the Raiders? Like he looked decent last week against a very bad Dallas defense, but it wasn't anything crazy. Like I still don't think that DeAndre Swift is like this 3-down back, and Poles really missed an opportunity to get a running back in the first 4 rounds in a pretty running back heavy draft. So we're going to be going with him and Manungai in the running game. And of course, Caleb Williams still has those legs that he can get first downs or get tough yardage if he needs to. The offense is going to look good. Other than the running game, the defense is also another question mark. Yeah, they had a pretty damn good game against Dallas, but CeeDee Lamb came out early in that game. So we'll see if they can keep Bowers, Myers, and Tucker, under coverage, not have a breakout game or anything like that. I'm going to take the Bears, of course. Bear down, baby. I think they win by a touchdown against the Raiders. I'm going to go 27-20. Bears take the dub. Bear down.
Another big offensive performance. 27
Yeah.
points.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally can see it. Okay, next up, we got the Baltimore Ravens going to Kansas City, and one of these teams will be 1-3 when this is over.
Yeah.
The Baltimore Ravens are 2.5-point favorites on the road going to Kansas City. The Ravens are tied with the Dolphins for the most points allowed this season, 97. But it's weird how I don't have any confidence in Mahomes to take advantage of that anymore. Now, Xavier Worthy, he was questionable to play last week, and then we found out he was ruled out on Sunday. And It's really kind of turning into like the only chance the Chiefs have to win this game is if Xavier Worthy plays. The Chiefs are also struggling to stop the run right now, and Derrick Henry has an opportunity to atone for all of those fumbles that we've seen the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And hold on one second. I just want to make sure, pregnant girlfriend. Make sure.
Kyle's got to check on the lady, but
okay, she is calling. 1 second.
All right. So for the Ravens, again, Kyle was talking about the issues that that Derrick Henry was having, really, right? And it's been 3 games in a row that Derrick Henry has fumbled the ball. Twice has been in critical late game moments, one with the lead, another one trying to get the lead. Just last week against the oh my god, I can't remember who they played, but it was the Chargers. Who was it? And I'm gonna look at the schedule right now. It was against Detroit. Sorry. So twice in late game situations has Derrick Henry fumbled the ball. Kyle, you were just talking about Derrick Henry kind of atoning for those fumbles. So I'll let you continue.
Yeah, I think this could be a big opportunity. And the way the Lions were able to bully the Ravens up front, though, look for that. I mean, I think the Chiefs have an opportunity defensively to also be really disruptive on the line. And I think that'll give them a shot to win this game. Like, it's in Arrowhead. Obviously, the Chiefs fans and the team knows what's at stake, falling to 1-3. Weirdly enough, no one's going to hit the panic button, no matter what fan base is at 1-3. It's not like the Bears going 1-3.
Yeah.
The Ravens and Chiefs, probably 2 teams that you're going to see in the playoffs, even if they, whatever one loses this game, but still, it's difficult because it's like the Ravens have a high powered offense that you kind of trust offensively, but the Chiefs, they don't, but they have a pretty good defense that keeps them in games. And then on the other side, the Ravens defense gives up a ton of points, but the Chiefs can't exploit it. So what do you do with this? I feel like you have to go with the better team. It's the Ravens right now.
Yeah.
The Ravens are a better football team. They have Lamar Jackson, who I think had a bad week last week. Like, he normally is really good at getting out of the pocket, and last week he was just so sackable. Like, it was like you see him in those situations all the time, yet he doesn't get sacked and he gets out of it. And a lot of times he runs for 30 yards. And last week he was just getting tackled. And you're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And there were people on air on Tuesday morning saying, like, is maybe that version of Lamar over? And like, Lamar's still a very, elusive, gifted quarterback, but the days of him being able to, be unsackable at almost 30 years old, and all of the seasons and injuries that he's taken, and maybe that chapter's over. So people are starting to wonder if, like, we're in a new era of Lamar. And if he had a big game against Kansas City, like, all that goes away. So I'm just gonna go with the team that I really don't like both of these teams, to be honest. Like, but I'm gonna have to just take the Ravens because as much as I want to back the Chiefs, like, from like a betting standpoint, not like emotionally, I don't want to, but betting wise, I feel like the Chiefs are always the right move. When they're like an underdog at home, that probably has happened twice in Mahomes' career.
Yeah.
And usually the Chiefs find a way to cover or win those games outright. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go Ravens, I guess. I don't feel great about it. If the Chiefs win, I'm not going to be like, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
No one could predict this game.
Honestly, could not agree more with going with the Ravens here. Because like you said, like, The defense for Kansas City, better than the Ravens. The offense for the Ravens, better than the Chiefs. So really, when Lamar Jackson is on the field and when Chris Jones are on the field, that's going to be like, I think, what decides this game. Can Lamar and the Ravens go downfield on this defense and score pretty easily, sometime in like middle third quarter? Then it's probably the Ravens game to lose, which, when you kind of give them those odds, they tend to lose those games. But regardless, I think that's going to be obviously the matchup to watch, and whether or not the Ravens can kind of go downfield and score easily is going to decide the game. Because if the Chiefs defense can stop the Ravens, then they have a much, much better shot to win this game. But the offense right now for the Chiefs is just untrustworthy, as well as the defense for the Ravens. Like, coming into this year, and even after week 1, I was like, well, I'm still going to trust the defense for the Ravens. That just has not been the case. Obviously, that coupled with Derrick Henry fumbling the ball late in games where it really, really matters, and then him not seeing the field after those fumbles has been crucial to the Ravens being 1-2. But I think Baltimore rights the ship. Maybe Derrick Henry doesn't fumble for a 4th game in a row. I think Baltimore goes 2-2, and the Chiefs go 1-3 after week 4. But like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the other way around. I wouldn't be surprised if Harrison Butker comes out and hits a 45-yard field goal to win the game for the Chiefs with a second or two left, right? Like, I wouldn't be surprised either of those outcomes of this game. But I got to take the better offensive team, and that's the Ravens. Again, the Chiefs defense, pretty damn good, but I like the Ravens offense a little bit more than that defense. I'm going Ravens to take the dub.
All right. Next, we got Micah Parsons going back to Dallas. It sounds so weird, but this is the Micah Parsons coming home. He said he doesn't care about a tribute. The only tribute he wants is a win for the Packers. And just last week, everybody was talking about how good Russell Wilson looked. This week, it's Caleb Williams. Spoiler alert, the Dallas Cowboys have been protesting the Micah Parsons trade by not covering anyone on defense. So the Dallas Cowboys now are in position to have maybe their fans more excited for a football game than they've been in a long time. This place is going to be crowd going crazy. The Dallas Cowboys are going to want to win this game. Dak Prescott's going to want to win this game. The Green Bay Packers and Dallas Cowboys are, no, I'm America's team. No, I'm America's team. This is going to be the numbers this game is going to get are crazy. I'm excited for this game, but the Packers are coming off a loss. They didn't take the Browns seriously. No CD Lamb. I'm taking the Packers -7 here.
Yeah, this is going to be a very emotional game for not only the Cowboys team, but Cowboys fans. Like you said, this is Micah Parsons coming back and going to try to wreak havoc on Dak Prescott, on that entire offense, to do his best to really be like, hey, this is what you guys missed out on. You guys should have signed me instead. Now I'm with Green Bay and killing it, right? The Green Bay defense was already pretty damn good last year, and then you add Micah Parsons and it gets better. And you've seen it through this season so far. They embarrassed the Lions week 1. Obviously, they had a bit of a short circuit moment with the Cleveland Browns, but I think you got to credit the special teams for the Browns there to get that dub. But mostly, I think I'm blaming the offense on that one, with Jordan Love with a late game interception. I don't think it happens against the Cowboys. If the Bears can hang 40 points on this Dallas Cowboys defense, I think it's going to be a mountain to climb for Dak Prescott and Javonte Williams, and whether or not CeeDee Lamb's playing, I haven't seen his status, to kind of get back into this game. And even at home, while emotions are running high, I think I'm still going to take the Packers to win this game. But I think it's going to be close, man. I really do think it's going to be a close game. The Packers have dominated the Cowboys in especially in the playoffs. So I'm going to take the Packers to win this, unfortunately. But I think it's going to be close. I don't know about the 7. I think it might be like, I don't know, 35-30 game where Dallas is still trying to come back. It's almost going to be like when they play the Packers in the postseason and it's like garbage time touchdowns, they're trying to get back and it's like, oh,
backdoor cover.
Exactly. It's like, oh man, are the Cowboys going to come back? And then there's like 49 seconds left. And then, it's a third and 6 and Dak Prescott throws an incomplete pass or an interception to Green Bay Packers defense. And then the score is 35-30. So I've got the Packers winning in Dallas. Micah Parsons sacked Dak twice. 35-30. Packers win.
All right. Now we got a doubleheader on Monday Night Football, starting with the Jets. Justin Fields comes back from concussion, maybe. Nice. Justin Fields looked really good week 1 when he played, and then obviously he's been dealing with the concussion protocol. We don't know if he's going to play yet, but I don't know what to do with this game, and I'm not going to make a lot about it because the Dolphins aren't good. They played Buffalo pretty close, which I predicted. I predicted that Buffalo wouldn't cover the 13.5 point spread that they were on. The Dolphins had a chance late in the game to tie the game. They threw a pick. And then the Jets are, I think, the better team right now. The Dolphins are 2.5 point favorites. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Jets here to get a gritty defensive win on the road and the fire to keep flaming in Miami.
Yeah, there's nothing I like about this game. This is definitely like we're going to be streaming, the next Monday Night Football game. This one just might kind of be on in the background and do score updates every once in a while, if I'm being honest. And I'm sure Kyle agrees. Two defeated teams. Mike McDaniel's on the hot seat. Aaron Glenn just kind of getting, trying to get his footing here. Had a great week 1 game again, like you talked about with the Steelers, but there's definitely some lapses there on the defense that let them come back and win that game. And then the Dolphins, nothing about this offense looks good. The only good thing about this offense is Achane, and even he's good, but like it doesn't outweigh the rest of the offense. Like he can't get past just this terrible, terrible offensive play calling. And Mike McDaniel looks like he is just been through the ringer, man. Like he does not look good. Tua looks like shit. Tyreek Hill finally gets a touchdown and finally gets like a deep ball not too long ago. It's nothing about this team looks good offensively. But then again, the Jets defense looks not good either. There are a couple players there on the defense that can make a move, but again, I don't know how good these two teams are, both offensively and defensively. They're both pretty bad. But if I had to pick a winner, I said I wouldn't do this anymore. I'm picking Miami, but I got to take the home team. Yeah. I guess I'm taking Miami in this one, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this game ends in a tie.
All right. And then we get to the, you're right. And actually I said yesterday, I was like, every week there's one, I want to start a new thing that we do. How we have like our upset of the week. I want to have our most likely to end in a tie game every week.
I'm down.
And mine's going to be the Colts. I'm sorry, the Texans and the Titans.
Yeah.
My tie game, and yours is going to be the Jets and the Dolphins.
Yeah, they don't even get a win.
Yeah. But let's go to the Cincinnati Bengals at the Denver Broncos. Denver 7.5 point favorites. Look, I'm very frustrated, obviously, with the way things have gone so far. Nix has missed 3 potential touchdowns, 3 plays that if he makes them, the Broncos beat the Chargers. The Broncos up 10 points against the Chargers and then penalties. And they let the Chargers come back and steal a game. That's 2 weeks in a row that they have lost the game in the final second of the game because of a last second field goal. And what kills me is that because of those moments, like Denver has, I would rather not lose games because the way we've been losing games, it leads people to believe that we're not a real football team. And I could go on, and I'm probably going to post a separate video about this game altogether. But I do think Denver at home is I think Denver's going to get right. I think when you look at their 2 losses, they collectively come from teams that haven't lost yet, right? They're 6-0.
Yeah.
So they haven't been losing to terrible teams, and they shouldn't have lost either of them. There was the leverage against the Colts, and last week they fell apart. And Nix needs to be better. I'm not worried about him like long term because I've seen too much. I know he can make those throws, but the 1 inch off on the 3 touchdowns is like a reflection of this whole entire team. You know, they're 1 inch off of being great. It's the throws that Herbert was making. Like, people are like, Riley Moss has got to go. It's like the coverage was perfect. And somehow, like, these balls are being caught. The coverage is perfect. The pressure's perfect. But Herbert's able to get the ball out right before he gets sacked in a window this big, and the coverage is perfect, and they catch it. It's like, what do you do? You know, with that, I mean, but this whole team just feels like they're an inch off all around. And I'm just hoping that this is going to be the game where we don't come out and play a close game with the Bengals, but we come out and we have a dominating performance in front of our fans so we can get ready to go to Philadelphia next week. This would be an important win. If the Ravens win, the Chiefs will be 1-3. We'll be 2-2. And then, you know, we'll ultimately control our destiny because we play the Chargers later in the season. But we got to get this win. We can't fall to 1-3, especially against Jake Browning.
That's what I was going to say. The Denver defense so far hasn't
13 sacks too through 3 weeks.
Like, that has been impressive. You guys have been able to get pressure for sure. And the 13 sacks has been like just exactly kind of what you want out of your defense. Everything else, though, like how you said, like the coverage could be perfect. We could be getting pressure on the quarterback. Everything else, though, has just not been falling the Broncos' way. It just hasn't. And sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately, right? But against Browning, I think he's thrown 5 interceptions in 2 games. And it's like been a game and a half, really, for Browning, right? I think your defense, especially the secondary, can take advantage of that, get some takeaways and some picks in this game to kind of turn around the fortunes for the Broncos. And off those picks, I think you're going to be able to get points, because while this Bengals defense has been decent, I don't know if they're going to be able to be decent enough to stop the Broncos, especially at home. I'm also going to take the Broncos to win. I think Bo Nix has one of those games where he connects on those deep balls to Marvin Mims, to your Cortland Suttons, whoever it may be. I think he's able to connect on those.
He's going to have a big game. I think Troy Franklin's going to have a big game. Take a touchdown.
Yeah, let's go Troy Franklin too. I mean, that connection from Oregon is still there. So, and they got rid of Vele to kind of put some more responsibility on Franklin too. So I think Bo Nix connects on those deep passes. I think the receivers are able to haul those in too. Looking at you, Mims, I think they're able to haul in those passes too. I think Jake Browning has a struggle bus of a game against this pass rush from the Broncos. I think he gets sacked 3 more times. I think he throws 2 interceptions. The only thing I think the Bengals are going to be able to do decent is run the ball with Chase Brown. He's not a Jonathan Taylor, right? He's not like that kind of running back that kind of burned past the Broncos defense in week 2 against the Colts. But I think he might be able to have a decent game. But I think the Broncos take it at the end of the day. I'm going to go 27-13 Broncos. I think it's going to be a really good game for the offense. Like I said, I think Bo Nix kind of get right game, and the receivers have a much better game as well. And that's the game we're going to be streaming Monday Night Football. Oh, actually, no, I won't be able to stream. Damn, I forgot about that. I'm going to be in Chicago, so I may not be able to stream, but I will let you know if I can or cannot. But you guys know damn well Kyle's going to be streaming that game for sure.
Yeah, and keep an eye on T. Higgins, because the last 2 matchups between the Bengals and Broncos, Patrick Surtain has held Jamar Chase last time to 3 catches for like 30 yards. And then the first time they played, he held him to 1 catch for 9 yards. But they were still able to have 100 yards. Jamar Chase, he was able to, go and do different things where Surtain wasn't covering him. And T. Higgins had 3 touchdowns and like 140 yards receiving.
Oh, yeah.
And he just picked on Riley Moss that whole game. So look for the Bengals to, attack Riley Moss in this game. T. Higgins if you got T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, this sounds crazy. I would probably start T. Higgins over Jamar Chase this week.
Wow, yeah.
But yeah, hopefully we shut them all down.
Hopefully. I think you will. All right, guys. Week 4 of
Top 5, no debating. Top 5.
Top 5. Kyle?
Top 5.
Top 5 for week 4. Let's get into it. Our top 5 teams in the NFL heading into week 4. We'll make this on the quicker side here. Kyle, I will start off. I think you started off last week, so I'll start off here for our week 4 top 5. At number 5, coming off a tough loss last week, one that a lot of people did not expect, but I got to keep them in my top 5 because they're pretty damn good. I got the Packers at number 5. They fell 3 spots from number 2 last week because that loss against the Browns just unexpected and kind of like, oh, come on, that was bad. But that doesn't mean that they fall outside the top 5. One of my teams, though, from last week definitely did fall out the top 5. But I got the Packers at number 5 going into week 4.
At number 5, I got the Rams. The Rams were up 26-6 against the Eagles. The Eagles were able to come back and win that game. The Eagles are also in my top 5. But I like what I'm seeing from the Rams, and I think they're going to find a way to close those games out in the future and be one of the best in the NFC.
All right. I like it. At number 4 for me, they move up 1 spot from last week. I've got the Indianapolis Colts at number 4. Jinja, I'm sure you're very happy about this because I'm keeping them in my top 5. They had a good win to go 3-0. They've got the best point differential in the NFL right now. And that team, again, has looked really, really good. Michael Pittman looks better from last year. Tyler Warren is looking really good as a rookie tight end. I think they're getting it going on the offense, and the defense is kind of following suit and being a lot better. So I've got the Colts at number 4.
At 4, I got the Packers, and they had them at number 1 last week. It was a bad loss to the Browns. They can have one of those games every now and then, and as long as they take care of business against the Cowboys, they'll probably find a way climbing back up the chart. But that was a terrible loss all the way around, so I had to knock them down, but also don't want to overreact. Because I always felt like the Browns were going to play a close game. It was really the interception late in that game that you can't have that let the Browns come away with a victory. Jordan Love's got to clean that up, but the Packers are still one of the best teams in the NFL.
At number 3 for me, making their first appearance on my top 5, is going to be the Chargers. Justin Herbert is playing really well. Some are saying MVP level. He's playing really well. He's getting balls into tight windows. LOL. That defense is still playing really well. And 3-0 atop the division right now. Chargers are my number 3 team.
Wow. So Denver's lost to 2 of your top 5 teams.
Oh yeah. Colton Chargers. Yeah.
At number 3, I got to go with the Buffalo Bills. Bills, just impressed. I just like what I'm seeing. They're very balanced. James Cook's amazing. Josh Allen's incredible. Still have some questions with their defense. They like to play nickel, and they don't have a bunch of corners that I love, and they're running 5-6 at a time. And one thing I do love, though, is Joey Bosa. And Joey Bosa is coming off the edge, bringing real pressure to this Buffalo defense. Josh Allen, this team is just very consistent. You know what you're going to get every week, and it's most likely a win every single time. I got Buffalo.
Love it. Love it. At number 2 for me, I've got the Eagles. They move up the rankings after coming back against the Rams last week. Blocking kicks, returning them for touchdowns. While the offense, again, hasn't been awesome like it was last year, and the defense is, you're still kind of like hoping for a much more dominant defense for the Eagles. They're winning games. They're showing you why they were able to go to the Super Bowl, and they may have lost another coordinator offensively, and it is showing in some in these games so far early in the season, but they're still coming out with wins. Jalen Hurts is still this level-headed guy, quarterback, captain of the team that is going to get his team into positions to win. And I got the Eagles at 2.
At 2, I got the Chargers. Chargers are just playing real good football right now. Herbert, some of the throws that he's been making are just impossible. But the Chargers, man, they play good defense. I like what I'm seeing from Omari and Hampton. I actually don't like what I'm seeing. If you're a Chargers fan, the Chargers, they're looking like the real deal this year, and it's not surprising at all. This should have been predicted, but here we are, Chargers at 2.
And my number one team, and have been my number one team for 3 weeks in a row, I've got the Bills at number 1 overall going into week 4. The least amount of points they've scored is 30. They're continuing to run over teams offensively, defensively. They're able to hold some teams. Obviously, the Ravens week 1 was a tough one for that defense, but they've gotten a little bit better each week. And that's what you can ask for from this defense. They've got some guys who were injured. I think Ed Oliver was injured last week. So Joey Bosa, like you mentioned earlier, Kyle, has kind of been trying to pick up that slack and has been somewhat of a guy for the Bills too, when a lot of people were thinking that he was kind of washed after leaving the Chargers. But the Bills are my number 1 team. They're 3-0 atop the AFC East, and I don't see their offense slowing down. And even if it does slow down, Josh Allen is a guy that you want on your as your quarterback, trying to get your team in a position to win. Bills at number 1.
All right. At number 1, I got the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions.
All right.
Yeah, I was tempted to not do this. I really wanted to put the Eagles here, but seeing them go behind 26-6 in their offensive struggles, they finally got going. I need to see that continuing, but I think we can bury any of our coordinator concerns about the Detroit Lions now that we saw what they had. I think the Lions are tougher. They were smarter. They were more prepared than the Ravens on Monday night. They repeatedly came up with clutch plays, sacks.
Yeah.
They were in a hostile road environment. It didn't seem to bother them at all. The Lions delivered the first punch in this game. The Ravens countered. But they couldn't do it consistently, and the Lions could. I think right now, with the way the Lions are running the football and the way the defense is playing, this is what the Lions looked like when they were the Super Bowl favorite. They are a dangerous team right now that everybody should be afraid to play. And I think we can now end the Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn questions. That narrative's dead. The Lions are alive. They should be everybody's most fearful opponent.
All right. It's definitely a surprising one for sure, but I understand. And yeah, the narrative of losing both coordinators, I think the Lions are back on track. All right, guys, our top five for week 4 is there at the ticker at the bottom. And like I said, that was week 4 of
Top 5, no debating. Top 5.
Kyle. I'm going to get out of here once the video plays. So thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure to like the video, subscribe. We are almost to 1,000 subscribers. Kyle's pushing out these shorts. This channel is like 2 days away from 1,000 subscribers. So thank you everybody who has been subscribed.
Channel's like Rick's pants. It's growing.
It's growing. I love it. But I'm going to get out of here, but not before we do the motherfucking.
Welcome to the Chives with Kyle. All right. For my Chives, we're going to do week 4 fantasy sleepers, 3 favorable matchups in the Packers Cowboys, 3 running backs with upside. All right, first we're going to go quarterback. Love is a prime example of a player performing well, but not in terms of fantasy. The Packers have made the playoffs in both of Love's seasons as a starter. He's done a good job leading the offense and making plays when his team needs a win. The problem is that it doesn't translate to fantasy points often enough. It's why fantasy managers are reluctant to roster Jordan Love, even more hesitant to start him. But sometimes a matchup is just so appetizing that it's impossible to ignore. The vibes in Dallas were pretty bad after Russell Wilson put 450 passing yards and 3 touchdowns against the Cowboys. And they're even worse after Caleb Williams nearly threw 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. Because of how well the Packers offense operates, Love's ceiling isn't quite as high, but he's still good enough to be a QB1 week 4. If you have Jordan Love, he is worth starting this week. We got Justin Fields going against the Dolphins. In his 5th season, we're still not sure if Fields is a good real-life quarterback or not, but there's little doubt he's a good fantasy one. The reason can be summed up in 2 words: rushing upside. We saw it on week 1 against the Steelers. We saw it week 2 versus Buffalo before the concussion, prematurely ended his day. And after sitting out week 3 to Tampa, the Jets hope Justin Fields can return for Monday night's game against Miami, and the Dolphins haven't offered much resistance to opposing offenses, especially on the ground. If Fields can clear concussion protocol, his ability to run should also open up the pass, whether by ground or by air. Justin Fields should be productive against the Fins this week. At running back, we got 3. All right. Number 1, Alvin Kamara at Buffalo. The hyperbole of fantasy analysts is most notable when we're hyping up a particular player or team. Frequently, we must walk it back after a couple of weeks. Conversely, there are times we're too pessimistic about a team and we must upgrade our expectations. We've reached that point with the Saints. Granted, the bar was low, but they haven't been the worst. So progress, ? Nonetheless, I'm hopeful overall for the New Orleans chances to get a win in Buffalo, but I'm encouraged by Kamara's chances for garbage time points. He's still the undisputed RB1 with 80% of the snaps and has been rather efficient as a runner. His 50 carries have netted 186 yards and a score. That's good news against a leaky Bills run defense. And, while Kamara's target share is still well below his career average, he should see a few pass catching opportunities with the Saints, likely in catch-up mode. For fantasy managers uninspired by Kamara's draft choice, week 4 could be time to rejoice. Next up, we got Trayvon Henderson going against the Panthers. We talked about Ramondre Stevenson's fumbles, and he was stuck again behind Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson in New England's offense, but the 2 veterans caught a sudden case of fumbleitis last week, leading to Henderson finally getting a lot of work late in the game. Now, if you have him, you're hoping that carries over with the Patriots heading south to visit the Panthers. Carolina's run defense has been poor through the first 3 weeks, even in the 30-0 blowout win against Atlanta. Carolina was outrushed 131-110. New England has been pass heavy early in the season, but if the team seems more out of necessity than desire, with increased opportunity in a balanced offense, we could see the version of Henderson that we've been waiting for, and why some people drafted him as early as the 4th round. And then finally, we got Tootin for the Jacksonville Jaguars going against the 49ers. Fantasy managers had high hopes for the Jaguars offense in 2025. Liam Cohen took over as head coach after running a high-powered unit in Tampa. They drafted Travis Hunter to pair with Brian Thomas Jr., fresh off a productive rookie season. If we had any questions, they were about what was happening with Jacksonville's backfield. And through 3 weeks, the Jags running game has been more beneficial to fantasy managers than anything through the air. Enter Tootin. Jacksonville felt good enough about Tootin to trade Tank Bigsby to Philly. Tootin's chances has been limited, but he's made the most of them. Over the past 2 games, he's rushed for 63 yards on 14 carries, averaging 4.5 yards per attempt. And he also has Jacksonville's only goal line carry. So there's that. Either way, Tootin could be a good flex option in deeper leagues versus the Niners defense that has given up plays in the run game. At wide receiver, we got Romeo Doubs going up against the Cowboys. There's a good chance that I regret this on Sunday, but I'm currently riding the high that comes from taking a calculated risk. Like testing that week-old pizza in the fridge. Maybe it gives you a case of the bubble guts, or maybe it's way better than you could imagine. With that, I give you Doubs. Using stats to project Packers receivers is like trying to hold sand on a windy day. But I can tell you that Doubs leads the team in routes run and air yards per target. That makes him as close to a wide receiver 1 as this offense can boast. It also makes Doubs a prime candidate to post a big number against a bad Dallas secondary. And if it turns out that Matthew Golden, Datavion Wicks, or even Malik Heath has a big day against the Cowboys, pretend I wrote about one of them. At tight ends, we got Jake Ferguson going against the Green Bay Packers. Okay, Ferguson was going to make an appearance on this list even before we learned that CeeDee Lamb was going to miss multiple games with a sprained ankle. Though the first 2 weeks of the season, Ferguson had a 22% target share, that number jumped to 25% after earning 14 targets in week 3. With all the hoopla surrounding George Pickens and his addition to this roster, it's easy to forget that Ferguson was second to Lamb last year in targets and reception. So simply put, Dak Prescott is very comfortable getting his tight end involved. Expect that to be a focal point this week against the Packers once again. Green Bay couldn't clamp down opposing tight ends last week. David Njoku and Harold Fannin Jr. both caught. They went for a combined 8 catches, 65 yards on 11 targets. Through 3 weeks, the Packers are allowing the 6th most fantasy points per game to tight ends. Ferguson has a shot to be the overall tight end number 1 in most formats this week. Finally, I give you Kyle Pitts. Okay, once upon a time, Kyle Pitts discussions got fans excited. Nowadays, the Falcons tight end is mostly met with empathy or apathy. Many have clearly stated on which side of the argument they lie. Minds aren't going to change. After 3 weeks, Kyle Pitts has been fine, not great, not terrible, just fine. His usage numbers are encouraging. He's second on the team in targets and receptions. He's also second to Drake London in routes. Week 1, Drake London was sidelined for the final drive of the game. We saw Kyle Pitts' usage go way up, and he was somebody that Penix had to rely on that final drive. The bigger problem is that Penix and his 58.6% completion percentage, only Trevor Lawrence and Cam Ward are worse. The reason for optimism this week comes in the form of a Washington defense that ranks in the bottom third of the NFL against the pass. Similarly, the Commanders are in the bottom third of the league when it comes to slowing down fantasy tight ends. In week 2, Tucker Kraft was the overall tight end number 1 after facing the Commanders. Last week, a hobbled Brock Bowers finished just outside the top 12. Pitts has top 10 upside this week. And for defense, I give you 2 teams, okay? New England against Carolina. Okay, for the first 2 weeks of the season, targeting the Panthers with your defense was good business. The Jaguars cashed in with a sack and 3 takeaways week 1. The Cardinals followed up with 3 sacks, 2 turnovers, and a touchdown. The Falcons, that didn't pan out. Nonetheless, I will need to see the Panthers offense do it again in consecutive weeks before I believe they're not a defensive streaming fodder, because usually there's 1 or 2 teams that no matter who is playing that team, you're going with the opponent's defense because the offense is just so bad. All right, and Carolina's in that group until proven otherwise. New England's stout run defense combined with a respectable pass rush make it a quality 4 option. And finally, I give you the Houston Texans going up against the Tennessee Titans. Forget about the Texans' lack of offense. Let's talk about their defense. Unsurprisingly, D'Amico Ryans has created a stop unit in his image. Intense, physical, stingy. They are 0-3, but despite the record, the Texans are tied for the 5th fewest points allowed, and that includes holding the Rams to 14 points in the season opener. It's pretty maddening for fantasy managers who stream defenses that they host the Titans this week. It's a defense that doesn't give up points, especially when facing an offense that struggles to score them. The Titans' 51 points through 3 games ranks 28th. Sure, it's 4 spots above the Texans' last ranked scoring offense, but we're not talking about that right now. After a few mediocre performances, the Texans could find themselves as a top 12 defense in week 4. So forget about the offense and all of its struggles. The Texans, you can rely on their defense, and that's when they're going against really good offenses. This Titans offense has struggled massively. Look for the Titans to be a good streaming defense this week. Like I said, this is my game that could very well result in a tie, and I wouldn't be shocked about it at all. Thank you guys for watching. As always, hit the like button, subscribe to the Only Football Podcast. You can follow me at NFL with Kyle, and you can follow this channel at Only Football Pod. As always, hit the like button, comment, and let's get the discussion going. Who do you guys have in some of these games? What do you disagree with? What do you agree with? Overall, let's just have a good time and continue to build this community. I really love what we're doing right now, and I love all the interactions we're getting from you guys. So thank you guys for listening to our predictions, our top 5, and my chives, and I'll see you guys on the next stream.